I do,
I have
yeah.
so much to talk about. Wow.
Well,
Yeah.
I do have questions prepared for you.
Oh. Okay.
Um, I don't know if you talked about it on your YouTube channel, but I wanted to know why you want to be a missionary, and like if any of that's changed recently.
Oh, that's a good question for me to ask myself. Um, I think the mission field has always felt normal for me because I grew up as a missionary kid. So like not being in America felt normal. For when I first came back to America, I'm like, well, I want to be a missionary. I want to leave this place as fast as possible.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of the lifestyle I'm used to, like not having anything, kind of relying on other people for, your money. Like you rely on support to feed yourself. Just having that kind of purpose to your life that everything you do, there's a reason for. The missionary community I grew up in was not the best. They didn't really serve the Lord. They just kind of did missions work as a job, but still,
Are you talking about
like,
YWAM?
no, I grew up with Wycliffe Bible translators. And just a specific place I was in, they're really good people. It's just, it felt like there wasn't very much passion left for the ministry. It was just a job for a lot of people. Um,
That's interesting.
yeah. So I kind of went through a lot of changes when I left my family because I was trying to decide who I wanted to be. On one hand, I didn't really want to be in America just because I didn't feel like it was home. I felt at home pretty much anywhere else. But on the other hand, I just didn't want the missionary lifestyle anymore. I didn't want like that constant like moving around and like not really having a home. I really hated that idea.
Yeah, that
So
would suck.
I kind of was mad when God's like, "Yep, you're going to YWAM for 6 months," and I'm like, "Dang it, more missionary work." But it was really good for me because I needed that instability. I think I just needed to like have the rug pulled out from under my feet, so I would just completely rely on God and the people that He put in my life.
Yes,
I just
that's
really
so
needed
true.
that. So I still right now I'm very transient, moving around all the time. I haven't been in one place for like more than 3 months in a while. Um, and it's really not what my personality is made for at all. I really like stability and like, oh, this is my home. I can always come back to this place. But it has been something that God's definitely been like working on me through. That this is how I trust Him, is by giving Him everything, including my housing situation, including where I'm gonna be, what country I'm gonna be in. So it's been really good for me, especially in the last few months of just completely having to trust God, like not having any other options but trusting Him.
That's such a good
Um,
perspective to have.
it's difficult. I'm like, God, why? Certainly I can trust you some other way, but it's been really
He
good for
always
me.
chooses the option that stretches us the most.
It's like, God, I'm really grateful that you think that I am capable of this, but also at the same time, I don't think I'm capable of this.
Well, that's
Um,
kind of the point though, because he wants us to rely on him, right?
Yeah.
right. Fair enough.
You're totally speaking to my soul right now. That's my move down here too. Is like,
Yeah.
to me, it's a missions field, and I feel very much out of control, and I'm actually
Mm,
less anxious now that I'm down here because I'm so out of control. It's very weird.
yeah. Definitely. I think you guys have been following a little bit of my housing situation recently, but like the last 3 months I've really struggled to even know what I can do housing wise. I have had really had any options. I've been kind of living in one situation thinking I'm gonna get kicked out the next day for a while. And it was kind of getting to the point where I'm like, I cannot handle this anymore. This is too much for me. And there was at one point I was on the phone with my mom and I just had a complete breakdown. I'm like, I can't handle this. And I just heard God say, don't handle it. It's on me. Don't even think about this right now. And I was like, that's stupid. I need to figure out a solution. He's like, well, right now you don't need to. And just like letting go I'm not anxious about it anymore. I'm not even really stressed out about it, even though my situation's worse than it was back then. I just, just the peace of the Lord. And I know that He's going to work something out. So,
That's awesome.
but it's definitely like, I definitely level up from saying, "Oh, I trust God," and then actually having to trust Him, and like, there's an impossible situation I cannot solve.
It's so
Well,
true.
Jesus, I bet you find the wheel, and then you can take it because I don't know what's going on. Um,
That's so
but
true.
yeah, as for whether I want to be a missionary anymore, I don't know. I feel like right now my mission field is definitely YouTube.
Yeah, I think missions has changed a lot. It's not just going out to other countries.
Mm-hmm.
There's literally a whole digital world. Like Gavin Ortland left pastoring a church to go minister digitally to people.
Yeah. No, I follow several pastors that have left their churches and been like, yep, I'm just gonna do YouTube videos and that kind of thing. But
weird times we live in.
Yeah, it's very weird. It's been,
it's so
my whole
cyberpunk.
definition of missionary is you're just stepping out of your comfort zone.
Wait, sorry, I cut you off. What'd you say?
No, it's okay. My definition of being a missionary is just stepping outside your comfort zone to serve the Lord. So, if you look at it that way, that you're just anywhere you are, as long as you're taking that step of faith and like doing something, you're doing missions work. Because you always have those people that are, oh, those missionaries, they live overseas, they work in third world countries. We support them, we pay them money, we don't have to do missions work. I think on that extreme, it's like not very good mentality at all because you're not really doing anything. And then the other extreme, it's, oh, I can do missions anywhere, and then they think that just existing is missions, and they don't actually step out and do anything. It's like, oh, well, I'm a missionary at home, and I'm like, do you like talk to people about Jesus? Do you evangelize? Do you pray for people? And they usually don't. So it's definitely like you have to find that middle ground of like you actually have to take that step out, but you can take that step out anywhere you are. You don't have to go to another country to do it.
Yeah, I like that.
But yeah, that's something that I've definitely been thinking about recently is like, what is my life calling? I've been wanting to do YouTube since I was about 12 or 13. Originally, it was not a Christian channel that I wanted to do. It was for a fandom I was in. But after a while, I kind of like, well, I can serve the Lord on YouTube, right? My parents were never incredibly supportive of me.
I mean, I think any parent wouldn't,
Yeah.
They're not going to support you until they can see like proven success, I would think.
Yeah. My mom originally thought the internet was like the source of all evil in my life. Like she's like, "Oh, you acted out. It's because you watched that one YouTube video the other day." I'm like, "Mom, there's no connection." So it was really hard to get her to even like support me doing digital art, like drawing on my computer. Now she's my like biggest advocate for that. Like she's every time she sees my art, she's like, "Wow, it's so cool." I'm still convincing my family about doing YouTube. I think my mom's definitely worried that I'm stretching myself too thin, trying to do YouTube a full-time job and like figure out being an adult by myself, which has been hard.
It's a hustle.
It's definitely difficult, but it's been on my mind for a while whether or not YouTube is my life calling, because when I say it, it sounds stupid. Like even just to me, I'm like, that's dumb. But there are people out there doing it that are, that's their whole ministry, that's their whole life, is ministering to people online. And it's not impossible. And I don't think it's beyond God's will to have someone be an online minister, whatever you want to call it. It's just, I don't know if it's for me.
You're talking about aside from the YouTube stuff?
I don't know. Kind of like being able to do YouTube full time, I guess. Sorry, I'm not really good at expressing myself right now, but
I could see you becoming like a full-time commission artist and doing like social media stuff too.
Yeah, that's what the goal is right now, is to set up that kind of thing and see if it'll work, and I'll be able to support myself.
By the way,
by
the way, our podcast art is done by Frog. Shout
it's
out.
Me.
Yeah.
Wow.
It turned out so good.
It took so long.
It did. I had to threaten to bonk you. And then you said you were hiding from Candy.
Well,
it was like 1 a.m. where he texted me and he's like, Candy wants to know where you are. I'm like,
I will hunt you down.
Yeah.
Crazy.
No, honestly.
At that point we paid you. You were scampering off with our money.
I didn't think it took you that long, to be honest.
Nah, it didn't. You did a really good job.
Thanks. I had to like learn basics of art all over again to do the art, so yeah, that's why it took a long time. But
do you just like look up a YouTube video for that?
I looked up. You guys sent me like an AI art piece
Oops.
that's similar to what you were looking for, and I actually studied that to learn how to do the
No,
lighting and stuff.
really?
Yeah. I actually. This may or may not need to be included in the podcast, but I actually study AI art primarily when I'm studying how to
No
draw.
way.
I just really like how they do lighting. Like the AI does lighting, which is really bad because I know everyone's like, "Oh, it's evil. It's gonna make you lose your job one day." And I'm
Well,
like, "But it's
the thing
pretty."
You know what's funny? I sent Candy it was like an AI generated like meme. It wasn't like a meme, but it was like this guy used all this AI art. It's like this dude in like a suit of armor doing like fall activities, and Candy's like, "How dare you? I'm telling Sierra all this." I'm like, dude, I'm not supporting the art. I like the meme. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it now.
No, we're gonna have to disagree on this because if you're giving attention to it, then the demand will increase for it.
No, you can't. All I'm saying is you can't go and tell Sierra, or you can't go tell on me because she literally uses it to study for references. I don't want to hear it.
That's fine because she's an artist.
Bro, what?
What?
She can do what she wants.
I'm sensing a double standard.
The funny thing is my mom actually professionally uses AI art in her job, like to make her children's books and stuff she uses. So it's been like, she's like, "Oh yeah, I found this AI art bot that we can use to make our books now. We don't have to hire artists." And I'm like, "Oh my gosh."
That's terrible.
I was like, "Oh no."
Man.
I will die on that hill.
I did not even respond. I'm like, I don't know what to say to this.
How could she say that to your face?
Yes, I'm like, "Mom, you know I'm an artist, right?"
That's awful.
Crazy.
We've been dealing with this for like the last 40 years. Look at all the jobs that got turned out from factories for like robots.
Here's the thing. I don't care if jobs get deleted because like just stupid whatever jobs, but I think art is part of being human.
No, we're not gonna walk past that.
What?
You don't care if some blue collar factory worker loses his job because a robot can do it now. You don't care about that.
No.
Some artsy fartsy person goes, "Oh no!
Wait.
That AI drew a picture in two nanoseconds that would take me 3 hours."
No. Okay. Let me
clarify. Yeah.
Let me clarify. It's sad that anyone loses their job.
Mm-hmm.
I recognize that. But it's an existential question when art jobs are being replaced.
Why?
Because I think part of being made in the image of God is being creative. Because God is creative, and he invited us to be creative along with him. Like, he had Adam name all the animals and stuff. So I think it's a human question to replace that kind of job.
I mean, could you also be creative at a factory? Like, I just put like a little cross in like the inside of like a car. Like I put like a little stamp of like a cross on the inside of like some car frame. Yeah,
that's a tangent.
That's not a tangent. Nah, I don't want to hear it. You could easily do that, and there are plenty of builders that I've seen on the internet that they take a Bible, and when they pour cement, they put the Bible in the cement on like the foundation of like the cornerstone and stuff like that. Like, I don't want to hear it. There are Christians that express themselves at their regular jobs, and if that gets taken away, is that an existential issue then, Candy? I think it's just in general. I think AI and like robotics is going a little too far. All right, that's not a. Oh, it's fine when Joe Schmo, the factory worker with 16
They're
kids,
not gonna lose their jobs.
his job. What are you talking about? They've been using robots in car factories for like the last like 30 years or 40 years. They automate like everything that they can because it's cheaper.
Anyways.
No, we're not walking past this just yet.
I'll see it on that. I'll see it, okay?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know you cared about it that much.
What do you mean? I'm from a blue collar family. When that stuff gets taken away, I just see like my neighbors losing their jobs.
Okay, I don't think blue collar is losing any jobs.
Go and look up how many parts in car factories have been automated now.
Okay, but like electricians, they're always gonna have work.
Mm, it's mostly factory jobs. That's still blue collar.
Okay, that's
Factory
like a small
workers.
part.
What? That's
mean-
crazy. That's crazy. That's disrespectful.
Okay,
Even if it's a small
I'm
part, how
not
dare you?
rooting. I'm not rooting for it. First of all, like
Mhm.
we're not disagreeing.
Uh-huh. You just didn't have a problem with it until it came to art. That's what you said.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's terrible. We should all just become Luddites.
I don't know.
Society needs to progress.
Luddites are people that have like issues with all technology, like the Amish are Luddites. Right? Yeah.
I really
think-
wish I could go to an Amish farm and buy like eggs from them.
We bought our dog from an Amish farm.
Nice.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Frog,
If
what were you
they're-
gonna say?
I think my opinion of AI art is that it's hurting people, but just being mad about it is not going to change anything. So I'm not mad about AI art at all. I'm not really mad about the progress that's being made because it's gonna happen. It's just gonna happen regardless of what we say. Humans are innovative creatures. We always try to improve what we have. I do think eventually there'll be a balance. We'll figure out how to coexist. There's things that AI art will probably never be able to do, like I don't know, making videos and stuff.
That's not
But
true.
they started making like speed paints, I know, but like I mean like there's things that only humans can do, and that's just a basic part of being a human. Like
No, I agree.
there's a part of creativity that comes from your soul, I think, that machines will not be able to replicate ever. So I'm not
I
too
said
worried
that
about
to her. This is really funny.
What?
that.
I said that to you when we talked about it before with the meme with the AI
And
art. I said like,
I agree. I agree.
yeah.
I just don't think that it's worth getting upset about, and I think that artists should use it as a tool, like try to use it as a tool. Like what I'm doing, I'm studying AI art because I'm like, I really like how this looks. I really like how it works out, especially lighting and colors and stuff. I'm just like, okay, I want to learn how to do that with my own art. I don't know. There's ways to coexist with it. I'm not happy with what it's doing to younger artists who are just getting discouraged and don't even want to learn how to do art because they're like, oh, if I just enter in this like 5 words, I get a better art piece than I'll get if I study art for 5 years. So I don't appreciate that. I think it's really discouraging to people who are trying to start doing art. They're like, oh, it would just be easier just to do AI art. But I don't think it's worth being mad about.
No, that's a
Anyways.
base take.
My 2 cents.
That's a good 2
Learn
cents.
from it.
I
Did you put the screws to me when I sat there and showed you that? You're like, how dare you? You chewed me out.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, good.
Relish in it.
Yeah, I know you do. I know you do. Any opportunity you take, you take it. Any opportunity to put the screws to me.
Crazy.
She does.
Not that often.
Oh, but when the moment comes, you're like, oh, I'm getting them.
Someone needs to lay down the law.
Lay down the law with what? I sent you a meme, and you were like, how I'm telling Frog, oh, you're getting canceled, buddy. All right, so I don't want to hear it. No, but I don't know. I told Candy, I don't have that much of an opinion on AI art because I'm not an artist. Like I can't look at it from that perspective. I can look at AI taking jobs that I work because I can relate to those people. Like I don't understand the struggle that artists really go through. Like I don't know. It's just something that's foreign to me.
Mm.
So it's hard for me
There's
to like. I can get annoyed by it because like it's scummy. There's like it's boring. There's nothing there.
The one thing I will take issue with is when people either pretend that AI art is something they drew with their own hands, or I don't know if you've seen like Instagram users that call themselves AI artists that like all they post
Yeah.
is AI art and they like
Yeah.
try to take credit for it. And I'm like, you're kind of disregarding the fact that any other artist who is at the level of the art you're posting got there after years of studying art and like working hard and like not being, it's a lot of hard work to get to that point, and they're just kind of like, oh well, I'm an artist too because I entered 5 words into this generator. And I'm like, you're allowed to make AI art all you want. I'm not gonna stop you from doing that. But when you're trying to like make yourself out to be something you're not, it's just not okay.
Yeah.
Frog, what inspires you?
Inspires me.
Yeah, like, are there artists that you like really admire, or like stuff that you look at to, I don't know, give you inspiration for your art?
I usually, when I'm like trying to improve my art, I'll go through phases where like, oh, my art's not good enough, I want to learn how to draw like another person. I'll go on Pinterest and just find something I really like. It usually ends up being anime art, just mostly because it's easier to study anime art in my opinion, just because there's not so much going on. Like if I looked at like classical art or like even like semi-realism, there's a lot of painted stuff, it's a lot of textures, there's a lot going on, and it's really hard to see what's actually there. With anime art, it's like simple line art, simple colors, and then there's lighting on top of it, and there's rendering, and I can study that.
Yeah, I think you're good
So
at
I'll
that.
usually like, yeah, thank you. So I'll usually like try to find something on Pinterest. I'll copy it pretty much exactly, and then I'll try to apply it to something else. That's how I study art.
That's cool. Something I've noticed is a lot of like new artists on Instagram, like specifically in America, are like trying to create shows that are more anime-esque style, and there's just like a lot of artists adapting that style, which is, I don't know, it's just interesting because it's always been Japanese, but it's like bleeding into US culture.
It's definitely a huge part of the I'd say probably like even 50% of art being made nowadays is something to do with anime. Like it is very pervasive. I used to like when I was first like seriously studying art, I learned from how to draw a manga book. So that was my first experience with art, so naturally my art kind of started out looking anime-esque and manga-esque.
How'd you get your style?
A lot of trial and error. I don't know, I just kind of developed my art. I decided to not, in like high school I was like, oh, anime's so cringe, I'm not gonna draw anime anymore. So I tried to go as far away from that as possible. If you see my art from that time, the eyes are like super simple, and then there's like super detailed like facial features, just to like be the exact opposite of the anime. But I've kind of come back full circle because now people are like, oh, your style looks so anime, I love your anime. I'm like, it's not really, but okay.
I think it looks like you.
Thanks. I do really appreciate that it's like recognizable, but also I'm constantly improving. So like if I look back at my art from last year, I'm like, oh yeah, that looks like art I'm doing now, but it's not as good as what I'm doing now. So there is like a consistency there. But I don't know how I develop my style. I think I just naturally, when I draw things, like especially like eyes and hands and stuff, I'm like, this is my natural way of doing it, and I don't really even think about it anymore. This is what an eye looks like, and this is what a hand looks like, and these are what clothing folds look like. So it just kind of comes from a lot of practice and a lot of drawing over like 6 years. Which I guess is kind of the organic way of getting your art style. I see like a lot of younger artists being like, oh, here's my art style, and they're like just rigidly stuck to this one thing and they don't draw any other way. I think you kind of have to like go out of your comfort zone a few times to improve. You have to like be willing to leave behind your style to improve and like get better to art, and then eventually style will come back. Like you'll eventually get your own style.
You're making me want to learn how to draw.
It's really fun actually. But yeah. Specific artists I really like. On YouTube there's a guy called Sam Does Art and a girl called Colleen.
I follow Sam Does Art.
Yeah, so I don't really follow their tutorials or anything. I just really like watching them. And I just really like their art process. Actually, Colleen's art process of like laying down the sketch, then doing the base colors, and then that's the art process I usually follow. And I got it from her. I really admire how Sam Does Arts does insanely gorgeous pieces in like 30 minutes. Like he simplifies his art process down to like nothing. And I've been trying to do that, like trying to draw really quickly now. It's not I'm still not there yet, but it's definitely something I would like to do, is to be able to just kind of like throw my art onto a canvas and it's okay, and I'm okay with what it looks like.
Yeah.
Um,
I went to a Comic-Con and commissioned an artist.
mhm.
And he drew it in like a minute. And it looks
That's
so cute.
crazy.
I mean, it's like super small, but
Mhm.
the line art and the shading looks so cool, and I'm just like, how do you do this?
Yeah. I think the art style I use on YouTube a lot was inspired heavily by Rifa Shui. I think it was my I'm restarting my Christian channel video that I was like heavily referencing how she makes her videos and how she does her little tiny characters and stuff. I really learned how to do YouTube again from her videos. So I don't know. She's not a Christian artist. She just does a very similar style of content that I do, I guess, but it's more like storytime animations, not like teaching something. I'm trying to Catertams, I think is her name, is someone on Instagram. I really love her art. Once again, it doesn't really look anything like mine, but I just really think it's cute. But as for things that inspire me, I really like seeing how other people do things and then do it my own way, I guess. So like I'll find an I find a Pinterest piece of art and be like, it's a complete opposite style from mine. It's like either like really harsh edges or, you know, the colors are just completely different from how I do it. And I'm like, I want to try to do something similar to this. And it usually teaches me something I didn't know how to do before. And that's how I improve, is I'm always pushing myself out of my comfort zone. I'm always doing something I'm not ready to do yet. And I'm always improving that way. But yeah.
That's the key to success, I think. Just always learning.
It really is.
Yeah.
When I started to do that, when I started to push myself more than I thought I could do, like take on drawings or projects I was not ready for, my art improvement over that first year doing that was insane. I went from like very basic, didn't really know anything about anatomy, to like, oh, I'm actually an artist now in like a year, and it was crazy change. Even the last year I've grown a lot in art just because of how much I've been pushing myself to do better, and just to improve. But at the same time, you don't have to do that. Like, if you want to take art at a slow pace, there's no shame in that at all, because, you know, everyone has their own learning curve. You don't have to be good at art. Just do it for fun. You can just have fun with it. For me, it's something that I want to be my career someday, so I'm really like, oh, I want to be as good at this as I possibly can, and it's something I use to glorify God, so I'm like, I want this to be good for Him as well.
You're totally speaking to my soul right now. That's like exactly how I view editing. It's like, really cool. I love it, I want to keep learning, and I want to use it to glorify God somehow.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Art is nice though, because it's like a very tangible thing you can add value to.
Mm-hmm.
Versus editing, I have to like track people down and be like, give me footage so I can put this together. And they're like, you want this much for that? I don't have that money. And I'm like, please, it's worth it.
And here I am making you edit things for free.
You haven't given me anything.
I'm sorry. I just realized as soon as I said that, I'm like, wait, I actually never said that to you.
Wow. Unreal. So this is why I'm always having to like yell at you, is because you just forget everything.
I feel like everything that I actually get done, I have to be reminded to do it like 3 or 4 different times.
Yep.
Just because I cannot remember.
Yep.
It's
the only reason why I got my
Really?
recent video out is because it was a collab with Christian Blue and we were supposed to release it at the same time. I would not have gotten it out anytime soon if I hadn't.
Wait, the recent one?
Yeah. We both released our videos at the same time because we were collabing together. So I had a deadline. I've heard it's good.
You've heard it's good? What do you mean? You just made it.
Crazy.
I didn't realize it was... I was like, oh, this is just going to be a filler video because I don't know what else to do right now. I got so much positive feedback. People were like, oh, this changes everything. Wow. I'm like, oh, okay. That's nice. It's all God. I can't take credit for it if I don't know what I'm doing, so...
True.
That's the fun part about being a little bit stupid, is that God gets all the glory.
Being a little bit stupid.
It's a good thing.
God's stupidest warrior is me.
I'm God's smartest idiot.
I got invited to be a speaker at a online ministry next month.
That's cool.
It's crazy. I'm not a very good speaker.
I'm sure you'll do fine.
Yeah. I'm excited because, like, I want to share, like, what God's been doing in my life the past year especially. But I, like, whenever I share about myself, I, like, don't take a breath, and literally my whole lungs just fill with air, and then I don't know, I just choke.
Nah.
But it's also online, so it might be better.
Yeah, I'm sure you'll be fine then. You can just mute yourself real quick and take a breath.
That's a good idea.
That's what Waver does when he does his readings. He'll like mute and he'll take a sip of water and he'll unmute and continue talking.
What a lad.
Yeah. Man, dude, he's epic. I feel bad I keep missing his readings, but I keep getting really busy.
What are you busy with?
A bunch of stuff for college. I got called for jury duty, and I was like,
Did you go?
"Yeah, I can't do this." No, they got back to me because I was like, "I'm a student, I work a full-time job, and $5 a day is not going to cut it for jury duty." And they were like, "Yeah, we don't need you." I'm like, "Oh, okay, cool, whatever."
That's nice.
Yeah, but they made me sit through like an hour-long video of like them explaining, "All right, this is what jury duty is." I'm like,
Really?
"Dude, I don't care." I think it was like 45 minutes or 49 minutes. I'm sitting here because there was a video sent to me through email. So I'm sitting here like, I have it on in the background. I'm just playing a game. I'm like, dude, this is terrible. I'm falling asleep right now. They were talking about like how to conduct yourself, all these different court terms, like approach the bench, all kinds of dumb stuff that like you would just know at some point, or like you would learn in the moment what it means. It's a lot of useless jargon.
I feel like usually high schools cover that stuff anyways, right?
Yeah, because they have like mock courtrooms and like stuff like that.
Sorry, I'm back now.
Dang,
We missed a lot.
you did.
Sorry. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you said you were going to be gone for 5 seconds. It's been like 5
I thought
minutes.
I was going to be gone for 5 seconds.
Messed up.
But
How dare you?
I had to do someone else's chores as well as mine, so
Dang. Are they going to get kicked out?
no, I'm not telling
Dang.
them.
Dang.
I ain't no snitch.
Good. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I was just telling Candy I got called for jury duty.
Oh no.
Yeah, but he got out of it because he doesn't care about America.
Correct.
Is
Dude,
that
if
what
I
you
had
said?
to, if they didn't accept my excuses, I would have just went in and went, "Nah, I'm not. I can't be impartial." Just get kicked out.
Oh no.
You know, I bet they have a really hard time finding impartial jurors.
Yeah,
Because I feel like everyone is so radical these days.
not even
Yeah.
just that. Like, if a guy has like a bad experience with like a lawyer or like any form of the legal system, there's no way that guy can be biased. There's no way. Human bias, like it. Oh, how do I word it?
You're always gonna have bias. I don't think.
Yeah,
you
like
can
it
change
seeps
it.
into every aspect of your life. Like there's not one part of your life where you're not biased in some way. It's
Which
impossible.
is kind of the point of a juror to begin with, is because they're hoping that everyone on there is gonna have different biases and they're gonna even each other out.
That's so dumb. Oh my dude. And like court, depending on the case, can like it can take upwards of like a year
Yeah.
for the
and-
person to even be seen. Like this happened to my brother. It's like, dude,
Yeah.
why? But yeah, That's why I just don't like it. I don't like jury duty. I don't like the U.S. court system. It's really taxing.
They can't get me for jury duty because they don't even know where I live right now. Because technically I'm American, unfortunately.
Unfortunately?
Unfortunately. It doesn't make it easy to get into other countries, though. It's nice. People usually like Americans.
Yeah, you should
Yeah.
be grateful.
I try to be.
Mm-hmm.
I ask the Lord for grace for this country every day.
Wow. When this country, you are American, so it'd be your
know.
country.
I have to like figure out how to be patriotic soon because that's one of the qualifications for the college I want to go to.
What?
That's easy, dude. That's super easy. Just say that you clown on Europeans any chance you get. They'll be like, all right, welcome, come on in
do that, but not
here.
because I'm American. I do that not because I'm American, just because the Europeans are funny.
Yeah, but like, just say it's
They're
because you're
so
American.
easy to make fun of.
They are.
True.
They're like
True.
not
Bro,
cool
if you
at
get it
all.
anywhere, when just like talking about America with like Africans and stuff, it's so funny what they think about us. Like,
In a good way?
I guess so. My one friend, he looks kind of rough a little bit, and they're like, "Oh, are you a cowboy?" And he's like, "No, I'm from California." And they're like, "Okay, from Hollywood then."
They're from Hollywood.
That's
They
awesome.
only know Cowboys, Hollywood, Ohio for some reason,
Ohio?
and Florida.
Because the memes on the internet.
I guess
like, clowning
so. The
on
memes made it to
Ohio.
Africa.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
What's that?
They don't have very good opinions of Americans. They think that everyone goes around with bucket hats on.
Bug? What?
I think the one people we went to, the only like contact we made with Americans was literally like cowboy movies because all the missionaries were British and like South African people. So they had no contact with Americans until like we came there and they're like,
Those
"Oh,
poor
the
souls.
Cowboys, right?" And I'm like, "No."
Those poor souls. They had to deal with the English.
Dude, have you guys ever been to a rodeo before?
Yes.
That's like
No.
true patriot attitude. Yeah.
Bro, I kind of like started freaking out when a little kid was riding around a bull. Like, it was a small bull, but there's like this 12-year-old on a bull, and I'm like, there's
it's
no
probably
way.
a baby cow. And he's just riding
I don't know. It looks like a full-grown one. He's a little tiny guy on top of this massive animal.
It's
I
crazy.
don't know. That's funny. Let's go.
Did I tell you I saw a tournament the other day, like a jousting tournament the other day?
No, he did not.
It was
Just
really cool.
casually?
I went to a run fair.
Yeah, she
and
was
they had a
walking down
jousting
the street
tournament.
and just two guys just rode out
Started
on horses.
jousting.
Yeah.
On motorbikes. Yeah.
Okay. Wait, you went to. Was that the picture you sent us?
Yeah.
Dang.
I went to
want to
Ren
go
Fair.
one so bad.
We should go as a group. The entire
should.
friend group just needs
I
to go.
would 100% fly out for that.
There's a big one out in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, there's several like the top big 3 ones that you kind of want to go to. This one was really cool though. It was bigger than I was expecting it to be.
Did you
I
what
was,
do you
like,
do there?
You go around to booths, you kind of act in character, you like can see things, you buy things. So I went to like a jousting tournament, I watched a sword fight exhibit, which was really cool. Like people were sword fighting, like a lot of people were sword fighting. Bought a sword, bought a giant turkey leg that made me sick.
Oh no.
Nice.
Because apparently my stomach just does not like meat anymore.
Dang.
Ate a bunch of stuff, walked around a lot, saw things. It was really cool. But
That's
yeah,
awesome.
it's a lot of fun to go with your friends. It's hard to be there by yourself.
You went by yourself?
I didn't, but the friend group I went with were already a friend group, and I was kind of the outsider, so I was like, I'm just gonna wander off by
Oh,
myself.
that sucks.
Dang.
I ended up making friends with this trans person. That was fun.
Nice.
Dude, if our group went to that, we'd look so cool.
We would be amazing.
Ren Fair skins.
Yeah. The one I went to out in PA, there's like 3 bars there, so they have a pub crawl.
Mhm.
There's an archery contest. They had like a play they were doing. They had an artillery exhibit where they actually like launched stuff out of catapults and stuff, which is really
Nice.
cool. There was a whole jousting competition that had like the full on like battle. It was really cool.
Mhm.
They had like a comedy show there. There's a bunch of stuff there. It was a lot of fun. A
Yeah.
bunch of stalls. There was a blacksmith exhibit, which is really cool. I sat there and watched that for a
Absolutely.
couple hours. I was like, dude, I just wanna go in there right now and just start working. Yeah, it was cool.
The Ren Fair I went to is so big that there was no way we could have done everything that we wanted to. Um, there was a blacksmithery there though that you could actually make your own custom sword if you wanted to.
What?
And there was a glass blowing competition that you could like. We actually we watched the blacksmithery for a bit, and there was this one guy. He was just going ham on. He was just attacking the anvil. He was going nuts on it, and it did not come out very well at all. It was kind of funny how much effort he put into it. And it just didn't work, but it was cool to watch. There's like a glass blowing competition where you can make your own like glass balls and that kind of thing.
That sounds like infinitely more fun than a Comic-Con, to be honest.
It was. I've never been to Comic-Con, but I feel like it is probably.
Comic-Con,
You get a
just
lot of weird people at Ren Fair, though. Let me just say.
Yeah,
weirder than Comic-Con?
I don't know. Maybe. I got some weird comments. I almost attacked a guy with my sword. I was like, no way.
Yahweh. Frog, I feel like you just get constantly harassed.
It's not constant. It's just all I talk about. There's nothing else going on in my life.
dang.
It does provide good tea.
It's very good tea, yeah.
What?
What?
What? Good tea. What does that mean?
What are
Tea?
you talking about? Tea?
When you guys say good tea.
It's like juicy gossip, bro. You've never heard that before?
No, I'm not a woman.
Crazy.
Crazy? Yeah, I know. Crazy. Yeah, I don't know. I've never heard that before.
Okay, Grandpa.
Oh,
So messed
that's
up.
so funny.
Yeah, I'm getting called grandpa.
You got
instead
called-
of me calling Candy old.
You got called old earlier on the server. I saw it.
Wait, what? Who did?
I don't know. Someone called you. Oh, I think they called Vel ancient. That was
Oh my
so
gosh.
funny.
That's awesome.
You missed that?
I did not see that. No.
Vel was giving someone advice about women, and then he's like, "Oh, yeah." First of all, that's funny, right? And someone he said something about his age, and then someone's like, "Oh, you're old."
Oh, no.
It was
Hold
so
up, I'm
funny.
damning him right now about that. Hold up, I'm clowning on him.
I keep on getting called old where I work, and I'm like, there's no way. Because all my friends are like 16, and it's nuts, but
Well, they're children. Just call them minors.
yeah.
See, that's really hard to take advice from Candy because she calls anybody under the age of
I'm a
21 a
minor.
minor.
Yeah.
So,
In her opinion, I'm a minor still.
nah.
I think anyone
Crazy.
under 25 is a minor.
That's
What? The
That's
number's
even
not up.
worse. How does that work?
I'm just joking. I'm joking.
See, like that. You know what? She's gonna go. I'm gonna turn
Under
25. She's gonna go.
50.
Anybody? Yeah, exactly. Under 50 is a minor. You watch.
Feel that.
Bell, I guess Bell didn't see it because I said, "Yeah, somebody called you old," and he goes, "Where?"
Wait, now I need to find it.
That's so good. Bell's gonna be like, "Dude, what?" Poor Bell.
It's so funny. I can laugh because I'm even older.
Yeah, I'm only a year younger than him. That was yesterday. I didn't even see that. That's so funny though. I wish I could have been in the room when Val saw that because you'd have been like, dude, what?
He just asked me, "Are you in a call with Ezio?"
What, did you also send it to him?
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell him you're gonna be on the podcast.
I have to say something intelligent eventually because
I'll just
it's gonna be a
hand it
very
to
short
him.
podcast.
But I'm gonna do it too.
Poor Val.
Well,
Ancient. There's no way, dude. This kid has to be like 6. There's no way.
I am Batman.
Nah.
Well, I feel like when
The-
you're in your teens, like anyone in your 20s is like a full adult. But when you're in your 20s, you don't feel like an adult at all.
Yeah, I do.
Well,
I don't know what to tell you.
You're just
Maybe
wise
when I was
beyond your
20.
years.
Yeah, I guess. Well, maybe when I was 20, I was like, yeah, I could see me not being an adult yet because I just turned 20. But I don't know.
He's typing at me right now.
Like as I told him, I was like, "You're gonna be on the podcast." About went, "Oh, that's funny." Poor Val. But yeah, I don't know. It's like, I don't know. It's like a weird feeling when you go from 17 to 18. It's like, oh, I'm an adult now, but nothing changed. What happened?
everything changed for me. I get kicked out of the country.
I mean, I graduated high school and my mom and dad were like, cool, get a job and pay us rent. I was like, what? I was like, okay, I guess. Then I got a job.
They make you
But
pay
yeah.
rent?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh,
I pay weekly.
Weekly?
how much?
Yes.
You don't have to share that.
Dang.
Okay, I pay $100 a week.
That's less than I have to pay. Or that's more actually. Never mind. Math.
Yeah. And then I
It's kind
get
of a
all my own
lot for
food.
living with your parents.
That includes phone bill. But then I buy all my own food, my clothes. Occasionally I pay for gas if they drop me off at work. Yeah. Oh well. Oh my goodness, dude. How long have we been yapping for? It feels like 2 hours.
It's been an hour and 16 minutes.
I
What?
haven't said anything
Yeah.
worth it. Dang.
Dang.
What?
Wow.
I haven't said anything like cool.
What are you talking about? I think it's been a good pod.
It's just gonna be you guys like arguing, and it's gonna be like,
I mean, you called me old, so you know.
Who did?
eh.
Jared did.
I mean, it's not really arguing if it's true.
Okay.
I like having Sarah on the pod.
Okay.
If you guys could live in any movie universe, what would it be?
Oh, that's a good question. Oh, let's hear our answer first. I gotta think.
I'm not smart though. Bro, I can't even think of anything.
I go to my movie list.
The hard thing is that a lot of movies I think about, it's only cool to live there if you're the protagonist, or you're just like a character in the background.
Can you say that again? I can't hear you.
I said that in a lot of the movies I'm thinking about, it would only be exciting to live in that world if you're a protagonist, because if you're just a character in the background, just living there, it'd be really boring.
Boring?
Oh.
Well, what are you thinking about?
I'm thinking about fun, like having fun, going on adventures and stuff.
Okay, but like what movie?
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. Is I can't think of anything that would be fun to be a side character in.
Well, I feel like your aesthetic fits like Lord of the Rings pretty well.
That's true.
Middle
That'd be
Earth.
pretty fun. Lord of the Rings. Yeah. That'd be pretty fun.
Some kind of fantasy movie.
I feel like I would die immediately though if I was in Lord of the Rings.
Well, like let's just pretend that it's after the
I mean, like
conflict.
plague or something. I'll just fall over with the plague.
Sure.
I have like
Dang.
-10 constitution points.
Dang. That's crazy.
But yeah, Lord of the Rings is a good answer. I like that.
Or I could see you in the Tinkerbell movies.
Oh, I haven't seen this
You're
in
literally
forever.
a fairy in your art.
I am literally a fairy.
Those movies are good.
They actually are. I remember. What I remember about them is they're really good movies. They just get a bad rap because, honestly, I don't like Tinkerbell, but I like everything else about the movies.
They're cute. Alright, Ezio, you've had time to think.
Probably Star Wars.
That's a good answer.
That's a good answer.
Is there like a certain planet you'd want to be on? Or a spaceship?
Nah, I would want to
Death
be. Yeah, the Death Star. I
Right
just
before
spawn
it
in.
blows up.
Yeah, I was gonna say right before like the whole thing just explodes. I somehow
What?
live and then I get put back on it for the second one. It blows up again. No, but I don't know. I think a nice planet would just be like Naboo. I don't know.
That one's really pretty. My answer would be Harry Potter, of course.
Yep, makes sense.
It's just, I don't know, it's just so magical. But I think I just need to move to London to get that kind of aesthetic.
Isn't there an American school?
What?
Isn't there like an American version of it in the movies?
I have no idea.
I think so. Like in New York or something. Oh dang! I should have said Pokemon. No.
You could say Pokemon.
Too late. I already locked it in.
Oh, okay. He's upset about the rules he's making himself.
Yeah. But now Pokemon will be a close second. Because I can have an Appleton in real life. I can just walk around with them.
I think like Jurassic Park, Jurassic World would be cool.
What?
That's wild.
Yeah, dude. You step
I would
out.
tame
It's
dinosaurs.
me, Frog. It's getting immediately just taken out by like the T-Rex.
No, a T-Rex would love me. T-Rex would be my best friend.
She would be the T-Rex.
Yeah,
I would tame the T-Rex and then ride it around and terrorize people.
Nah, you would be the T-Rex. Like you just have like your antennas sticking out of the T-Rex and just take people out.
My Dino-Sona.
Yeah. That's so bad.
Dino-Sona.
That's so bad.
I love how like it wasn't me who started the antenna on everything that's not human. That is something that my friend started on YouTube, and it's just like everyone's like, "Oh yeah, that's Sierra with the antenna sticking out." I'm like, "Okay."
You
It's
draw
me.
on a lot of the stuff that you do. What do you mean?
Well, like when I'm not a human, I don't
Right.
draw antenna on myself. Never mind. That was a random thought. I don't need to talk about that.
What? Hold up. Dang, where am I on this? Today, okay.
What are you looking at?
The group chat, because Sierra drew something where she's a human. She has
When
antennas.
I'm not human, I don't draw myself with antennas. Is what I'm saying.
Oh.
That was something that my friends started doing to make
That's
me
odd.
recognizable. That's why it's easy to make me a marketable plush, because you just put an antenna on top of anything, and it's me.
A
I like a
marketable.
real platypus.
Would you? So if you made a plush, would you be like an actual frog, or would it be some version of you?
Oh, I don't know. Anything I do, I would feel really bad about. I'd be like, oh, I'm so conceited. I actually technically have a channel mascot, but I haven't drawn him in forever. It's like a little frog named Greg. And there's like a specific way I draw him, but
that
it
would
never
make
worked
such a
out.
cute.
It didn't really catch on.
Yeah, that'd be a good plush. I bet.
I just need to get him like on the channel and like actually do things with it. But
You can make plushes of like all the group, and it's just like
That would be really cool. That would be so cool.
All of us just, and
I just
then
need to get you
you
guys
just
in more
make
of my
mine where it's just
videos.
screaming.
I
I still
just need
can't
to
get
get you
over
guys
it. The
in videos
one
and
like, yeah, I can't get over the one expression study you did for like the drawing, and he just drew me angry.
stuff.
Well, he drew Edgelord. He just has the Sakura tree. He's like, oh man, he just looks like at peace.
That
But
boss
yeah,
drawing that you made is so cool.
yeah, dude, I love it. It's so good.
Like,
The poses are great.
it was so fun to draw. I love that. Let me see if I can find some art I did of you guys a while ago. It was funny.
Oh no.
There it is. The angry Ezio.
Yeah.
And then the face on the left is supposed to be Valtrius, but I didn't put it there because I was scared of him. It's like, what is he gonna say?
Like the one all the way on the left, just looks like he's like angry.
Like tired, yeah.
Yeah,
Dude, that's how I
yeah,
imagine his face 24/7.
yeah.
Just done with everyone else.
Wait, you one where it's just you with a knife, bruh. Yeah. I still have that on my phone. I love it, dude. I use it anytime I'm angry. I'm like, that's it. Just send it. Oh, jeez, dude.
It's just my favorite drawing of myself.
That's a good one.
It's cute.
Where'd the antenna, like, fairy stuff come from?
Oh my gosh, it's like a really long topic.
Really?
Yeah, it actually is. I put a lot of thought into how I designed my character. Probably will be in a video at some point. I just couldn't figure out how to like. But there was a lot of thought that went into my character because before I kind of left YouTube the first time, I was like, oh, I think I had like a t-shirt with blue sleeves on. It was not a very like. It was just me. I just drew myself. And that was it. And then I came back, I'm like, okay, I really want something that actually has meaning to it. I want to be, you know, I was like into VTube. I was like looking into VTubing at that time. I was like, this would be really cool to have a Christian VTuber channel. I was like, I just want a design that kind of looks as that has that vibe. So the dress I'm wearing, the green dress that sometimes becomes a pair of pants if I'm too lazy to draw a dress, it's actually something I own in real life, and I wore it on a day that was like really special to me. So it has a lot of meaning. That dress has a lot of meaning to me. The little swirly thing on my forehead, I actually have a scar right there from getting hit by a car when I was younger, and it's like the one thing that I've always held on to, that I know God's real because he saved my life multiple times during that whole thing.
That's so cool.
So that's that little swirly thing. I don't actually have a swirl. I just have like a little gash across my forehead there. But that, you know, it's cool to have that thing there. The antenna is because my spiritual gift is prophecy, and I kind of like the idea of like I'm catching like little radio signals from God when he's talking to me.
Yeah.
And then the wings is because freedom is a huge thing for me. Like being able to walk free of guilt and shame and stuff was kind of the thing that really like made my relationship with God real, was being able to not, like, I wasn't living in sin and guilt anymore, was that freedom. So wings always symbolize freedom to me. I just really like dragonfly wings. So there wasn't a lot of reason why they're dragonfly wings, but the wings are important. The color green and like plants and stuff, the leaves that I have in my hair sometimes, it's all to do with like prophetic words I received during my missionary school, that I'm a tree that's got a lot of roots, but it's a little sapling on the surface and really needs to grow and like change and become something and start bearing fruit. That was the prophetic word I got at the beginning of my school. And at the end of the school, a different person gave me another prophetic word. He's like, I just wanted to say that you've grown a lot and your tree is growing. And, you know, like I got this word multiple times of a tree, and I would write it down every time I got a word about a tree, and it'd be like slowly the tree is bigger and bigger until at the end someone gave me a word that I'm like a tree that provides shade for other people, and that I'm, you know,
That's so neat.
help other people. So, you know, leaves and life and green and that kind of stuff, that's really important to me because God really spoke to me through tree. He's been speaking to me about trees for like the last year. When I was making my leaf tree video, Actually, I talked with a friend about things. He did a study in the Bible about like different how trees are used in the Bible, and it was just God's been speaking a lot to me through trees recently, so that's a big deal to me. One thing that didn't make the final version was a tail. Actually, I wanted to have like a tail on my character, but I decided to not do that because I couldn't figure out any like meaning behind that at all.
Yeah,
It was
I like how you have meaning behind each piece. I didn't realize. I thought
yeah,
it was just an aesthetic.
no, it was intentional. The kind of the desire was to be aesthetic because I'm an artist and I like being aesthetic. Have it look a lot like me as much as I can, and make it mean something. That was my goal, and I feel like the design I have right now, I'm really happy with it. I change a few things every now and then because like, you know, if I get tired of the outfit I make myself wear all the time, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna draw something else. But for right now, I really like what my character looks like.
Yeah, that's so cool. Again,
I've
you're making me
actually
want to be an artist.
I've gotten a lot of comments from especially younger people on my YouTube saying, "Wow, I never knew that you could combine like fantasy stuff with Christianity. Like I've never seen that happen before." I actually had someone kind of like have this whole kind of like existential crisis in my comment section about a Christian YouTuber being a fairy. So like, isn't that kind of like mythology and stuff? I'm like,
What?
um,
Literally, Tolkien wrote The Lord of the Rings. What are we
yeah, no,
talking
I'm
about?
not like
That
I'm not
started like
hating
everything
people
fanciful that exists now is from Tolkien.
from Tolkien or C.S. Lewis.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think just being that kind of artistic, being fantasy, kind of like leaning into the cottagecore vibes, the fantasy vibes. It's also helps people have a lot of freedom and like actually deciding what they're convicted about. Especially younger people. I'll have conversations with them and be like, "Well, I don't feel convicted against these kind of things. I feel like this is something that God is behind. He's giving me a lot of meaning in the art I draw." And they'd be like, "Wow, I'm gonna actually rethink a few of the things that I've always been told are wrong." Um, but
Yeah,
yeah,
I think a lot of times, certain sects of Christianity will make, I would say, like third or fourth tier issues, like first tier issues, which is, I think,
Yeah.
pretty harmful.
yeah,
Like they used to say that rock and roll was sinful, and they said that before that jazz was sinful, and then before that they
right.
said gospel music was sinful.
What?
So I don't
Anything
know.
new.
Yeah.
Anything new.
Yes. Yeah. They used to say if it wasn't a hymn, it was sinful.
Right.
You
And
know,
before hymns, it was classical music. Hymns
Hmm.
was also thought sinful at one point.
Yep.
it's so unfortunate. I'm super passionate about Christians in the art space because, like, the Renaissance came from Christian patrons, and
Yeah.
we need that again because people need beauty, and Christians are tapped into the most beautiful thing there
Right.
is. So,
I think
like, we
something I've
need
noticed in my
Christians in
own
that
life, yeah.
space.
Something I've noticed in my own life is that when you are like feeding off of God, you kind of just slowly absorb his creativity. I think, you know, some of the Christian artists I know are some of the best artists I've ever met. Like, there's one person on YouTube called Sketch Hope, and she's probably the best animator I've seen, other than like big Disney animators. And I don't know, I just feel like God does give us a special blessing to operate in a creative space, just because that's part of who He is. Like, He's a creator. He loves creating things. He loves making things out of nothing. He loves like making things out of bad things.
Oh, absolutely.
So I definitely think it's a blessing for Christians operating in creative arts. Um, But I also think, right, well, especially a lot now, you hear a lot of like bad rap about Christian media and like especially movies and stuff. But also, you know, when I started YouTube, doing the thing I'm doing now, the kind of style of videos I'm doing now, I could not find anyone doing it. Right now, I know Fiji Blue does it, and one other really small Christian YouTuber does it. I haven't found anyone else other than those two people. But when I started out, there was no one doing anything of what I was doing, and I had to figure out how to do everything myself. I had to make mistakes and learn as I was going on. And I'm kind of hoping that people will come behind me and do the same thing I'm doing now that I figured it out a little bit.
Oh,
But it's
yeah.
really hard to get started as a Christian, especially online, but just in the arts because there's not a lot of people doing it. And it's really
Yeah.
hard to like be that pioneer that actually like starts doing things.
Yeah, it's interesting you say that. I go to a ministry that's for people in animation or for Christians that like work in the animation industry, and the speaker came. He's like, well, I think he's not close to retirement, but he's very much well into his career, and he wrote for a lot of big shows, and he's like looking at us in this room, and he's like, there's never been this many Christians in Hollywood before. Like, it used to be just me and a handful of people, but now there's so many different ministries that are popping up. And he's like, I think God's doing a lot of work in Hollywood specifically, and just in the art space in general. He's putting Christians in the field. So I was
Just
like,
even like, yeah,
yeah,
just even 3 years ago, there wasn't that much representation of Christians in like any kind of media or art. I don't know whether it's because people like artists naturally come and find me online because of what I do, but I've noticed a drastic increase in like young artists that are wanting to serve God with their art just in like the 2 years I've been doing YouTube.
that's so cool.
It's so cool. Like I said, it was super discouraging trying to start by myself because I was like, there's no one out there doing the same thing I was. But I didn't get any support from other artists until I quit and then restarted, and it just seemed like so different. In those 5 months I was off of YouTube, something must have changed because there were so many young Christians like, I want to serve God with my art. I want to be a Christian YouTuber. I want to do this. And they found my channel and they're like, how do I get into doing this? How do I start? And yeah, it's really hard for me to give advice because I'm still figuring it out myself right now, obviously. I'm not doing as well as I could be. But it's just really encouraging now that I'm like, okay, there's people out there that really want to do this. Just today I was messaged by a guy who said he feels called to make a Christian gaming channel, and just share the gospel through that. And I'm like, do it. That is so cool.
Dude, that's really cool to hear. I've been sitting on this like desire. I really want to make like film analysis videos that bring out the gospel message in secular movies, because I feel like there's always some like hint of truth in I have scripts. I just need to like actually start making them.
That's really cool because I honestly wanted to do that too. Being like,
what?
It'd be really cool to approach this from a Christian perspective. But yeah, my plans for the future are, if it's God's will. I don't know what God's will is right now. I don't know where I'm gonna be next year. But I would really love to try to pioneer in as many fields of YouTube as I can, just because I feel like that's the number one thing that's stopping people is because they just don't know how to do it. So next year I want to start a YouTube channel with my brother and like just do Minecraft, and that's, Minecraft and Jesus is our kind of our thing, and just have a Christian YouTube channel and try to make it with excellence, not just, oh, Minecraft and then there's Jesus here, but like actually do it well and like make it engaging and make people want to watch that instead of secular YouTubers,
Yeah, I like that because there's a lot of slop on YouTube right now.
Yes, for sure. I'm trying to do more collabs with smaller artists. I'm in contact with like 5 different people right now trying to get collabs set up, just because if they're featured on my channel, that gives them so much exposure. It gives them like a little jump boost into the world of YouTube. People that watch me will be like, oh, I want to go check out these people too. So that's really helpful. It's encouraging to them. That's something, I'm not trying to be like egotistical or anything, but it is really encouraging it was for me when I was starting out. When you're just a beginner YouTuber, when a bigger person comes along, it's like, hey, I want to help you, I want to encourage you, I want to promote you. It is so encouraging. You hang on to that for a long time. I really want to try like different styles of videos and like niches, but put a Christian spin on it, just so that people can come after me and be like, hey, that's a good idea, I want to do that, but also I want to do it better, because I'm not expecting me to do a very good job at a lot of these niches that I'm thinking about. But other people who come after me will do a really good job with it.
Yeah.
And that's the dream.
Yeah, it sounds like you're like really desiring like mentorship and inspiration for other people. For sure. I feel like we're like made for that.
That's definitely something that I've come to the conclusion with is that my desire is not really to be famous. It's that the people that follow after me are famous. You know,
That's a good way of looking at it.
Because for after the Discord server I launched, I realized I cannot handle being more famous than I am right now. Like 10,000 is too much. Is too much. But you know, I'm really good at like raising up other people and like, you can do this. Here's how you do it. You know, that's what I want to do. I want to be the person like builds up other people to do what I can't do, I guess.
Yeah, a lot of people need that right now. A lot of creatives I meet, they're just like stuck in survival mode, and I'm like, you moved down here to like be in this space, and you're not doing what you came here to do, and it's sad to see. But I don't know.
Yeah,
life
that's
is
a little
hard.
bit of my dream.
That's really cool. And then Ezio just moderates the server for you.
Yeah, I've been delegating pretty much everything.
That's good though. Delegating's good.
Yeah. Ezio's in charge of the server and like personal relations. He's my PR manager.
PR. You are though.
People get a little weird. Just get it out the old Louisville Slugger.
But yeah, I think that's something like just besides you guys just being amazing friends, the fact that God has brought this specific friend group into my life that are like have talents and skills I don't have and are willing to pour that into my channel. It's just been really cool to see.
It's almost like it was ordained.
It's like God just like this was a plan or something. I don't know. But like the fact that Ezio is just so good at management and like being able to like do everything at once. I can't do that at all, and I'm so glad that Ezio's running the server and not me, because it would be a dumpster fire by now if it was me. I'm really grateful that Edgelord is wanting to do my Instagram page, because he's consistent and he, you know, when he sets his mind to something, he gets it done, and I'm not like that at all. And so it's really good that he's doing that. You know, so like it's all these things that people are helping me with. It's just like it's really cool to see the people that God surrounded me with.
Yeah, I literally prayed for a friend group like this. I think I was telling you, Ezio, that. I was like, I just want some like silly good friends that I can laugh with.
Yeah, because you're
really
super serious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You need to find that balance, Candy.
I know.
Keep telling you, everything's a balance act. Everything. That's what you gotta do. Yeah.
Well, you said you were gonna be on this for like half of the time, and we're an hour and 42 minutes.
Dang.
Well, there you go.
There you go.
Sorry, Frog. We got like another 3 hours now.
Oh boy. You just keep me up so long.
Yeah. I slept until noon today, which is very odd for me. So I'm not tired at all.
Did you actually get 8 hours?
I went to bed at 2, so yeah, something like that. Dude, I fell asleep. I sent Frog the text about us doing the stream today, and I fell asleep. I wake up, my phone's on the floor, on the charger. I'm like, dang, I hard passed out. I didn't even put my phone down. So yeah, that's why I told you I was delirious. So like, I don't know what happened. Oh man, that was
bad.
bad.
Let me find the text.
You can screenshot it.
No, but I just wanted to see if you can tell that you passed out immediately after.
Dude, there's so many people on the server that want to be guests.
Yeah, I know. I saw.
It should be.
Yeah, it was at 2 a.m.
It was, yeah.
I'm gonna screenshot this to you, Candy.
Why? Why? My gosh, the amount of people that text me at like midnight and like expect me to reply immediately is nuts.
I expect you to give me priority at all times.
Lame.
That's like, yeah. Random people will be like, hey, I texted you. Why didn't you get back to me? I'm like, I was asleep.
Ezio. What is that picture?
It's from King of the Hill. It's a gif. It's like a scene where this one guy on the show attempted slip and slide. So they took shifts and like keeping him from trying again. And like the one scene that's from, the guy tried to get up to use the bathroom. It did the character whose name's Dale Gribble went not on my watch and he racked the shotgun.
Oh
So,
no.
I like how you
Dude.
said you like made a statement and didn't like ask her if she was available.
no, I
Yeah.
just that. Why do you think I sent the gift of Dale Gribble with a shotgun? She didn't have a choice.
I hardly ever do. I mean, that's kind of
No.
how you have to communicate with me, honestly.
Yeah.
But it's like, you will be here at this time. No excuses.
Oh, dude. That's one thing I was really upset with the Chosen. They didn't show that.
The table
Yeah.
flip?
Yeah, when he chased him out of the temple, they never showed it. They said they weren't going to because it would have been too controversial
What?
or something like that.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I thought they said that they didn't want to have like the chance of, I don't know. I heard something about violence, and I was like, for one, it doesn't say he hit anyone with his whip,
No, he
and two, there's already
chased
violence
them
in the
with it.
show.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways.
If there's
I mean,
anyone that has a right to be angry, it's God.
Yeah.
Mm.
I mean,
And yet
Jesus,
he
like,
isn't most of the time.
yeah, it's just crazy
crazy.
because, like, we don't want to paint Jesus in a bad light. But then they talk about when Jesus is like, I didn't come to bring peace. I came to bring war by the sword. Like, dude, he literally already showing that he's ready and willing to divide families. They talk about it. So it's like, why not just show him, with his righteous anger, flipping
Yeah.
over tables and stuff? That'd been awesome. I would
The
love
thing
to
that
see
I-
like his apostles be like, oh, what's going on? Wait a minute.
The thing I love, like one of the major things I love about God's character is that even when he's angry at us, he's angry out of love.
Yeah.
Like if you read like, oh, where is it? I think it's Ezra? No. Anyways, it's one of the minor prophets. He's just like so hurt by how Israel has betrayed him. And he's like, I loved you so much,
Or
but you
whatever.
broke my heart, and now I'm mad.
That's so sad.
Hosea,
It
it was
is.
Hosea. Yeah. And it's just, I don't know. I just really love that, like, even when you're like, oh my gosh, God is so mad right now, but you can see emotions other than anger in it. Like,
Yeah.
with Hosea, he was hurt. He was betrayed. And, like, you know, he's like, I raised you. I watched you walk. I taught you how to walk, is what he said. And he's like, how could you leave me? But there's also, like, other times where he's just, you know, he's sad on our behalf. It's something that God has been like speaking to me like the last few weeks, is God's emotions, like that he feels emotions like we do.
You know,
And this one thing he said to me, he's like, I think he said something like, do you think I laugh at your jokes? Do you think I cry when you're upset? Do you think I get angry on your behalf? And I was like, dang. You know, it's kind of like this God relates to us through emotions is like a really big deal to me because I never was raised with that kind of God before.
I like that. I was just thinking the other night, like, I had a really bad heartbreak where it was like unrequited love, and I think God just put it in my mind of like, this is how I feel when people don't choose me, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's hard. Like, how could you like experience that kind of heartbreak like a billion times over?
No, it's like the ultimate Christian challenge is to make it through Hosea without crying. Like,
yeah.
Bro, just how like heart-wrenching it is when, you know, you see a little bit of God's emotions for us.
Yeah. Very sad.
I'll say that I like did not understand the emotional side of God at all, like before last year. I just thought that, you know, emotions were kind of a bad thing. If you had extreme emotions, it was bad. And even though like the Bible talks about God's emotions, I could just never understand what that looks like. And then, you know, last year, just everything changed, and I started hearing God like talk about his emotions with me. And I'm like, bro, what? You know, it was completely out of nowhere. Like reading the Bible and like Hosea and like other parts of the Bible, just And then also sometimes I would be like pouring my heart out to God, and he's like, it's okay, I feel the same way. And I'm like, there's no way you have these emotions too. And he's like, I do. It's just really a really important part of my relationship with him. I think the one thing that really changed how I saw God was I was just doing my quiet time, and all of a sudden, almost verbally, I heard him say to me, "Sierra, I love you." And just the fact that he called me by my name and said it to me specifically, that was what broke everything down, I guess. I started crying. I was like crying for like an hour. But yeah, the emotional side of God is just such a beautiful part of our relationship with him. Actually, some of my favorite people in the world are the New Agers and like the people in the LGBTQ community, because they're, I don't agree with them. I feel like they're trapped in so much bondage and just absolutely under, tons of stuff all the time. But they are some of the most sweet, and like they are so much looking for God. Like even if they don't realize it, they are so much. That was at the New Age convention, because we went to a church immediately afterwards, did the same thing, prayed for people, prayed for healing. We hardly saw any miracles. But the New Age convention, people had so much faith. They didn't know we said, we're operating the power of the Holy Spirit. We're going to ask Jesus to heal you. That's all we said. And they had so much faith. They're like, okay, let's do this. And we saw so many miracles. We saw people with broken arms be healed. I prayed over a witch's arm that had been broken, and it healed just then. We had people with terminal diseases be healed. Like, crazy stuff happened because they had so much faith in the supernatural. They knew the supernatural's out there, and they're looking, they're searching so hard for something to give themselves meaning. So they're actually some of my most favorite people to witness to, is people who are so lost that they're actually like closer to God somehow, because they're so desperate. They know in their heart of hearts how much they need God, because they've seen the worst of the worst, and they know there's got to be good out there.
Yeah, it's so true. I, in my darkest moments, I listened to a lot of queer testimonies, and that like was a game changer for my faith, because they're just so powerful, and they really understand the gospel. And that was when I was praying, like, Lord, help me understand like what the gospel means for my life, because I feel like it's just head knowledge. And after listening to all those testimonies, it like really changed my heart.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, God like really loves us. And so that will always hold a special place in my heart. So
no, definitely. We worked with the Changed movement based in
I
don't
love
know where
them.
they are actually. They're like partners with Bethel, so they're like right next door to Bethel. So when we went up to Bethel, we visited them, and they had the most insane testimonies. The lady in charge, she showed us pictures. She was trans, but she was so masculine. No one could even tell that she was a woman. Like, she had a full beard. Her body was masculine. She worked as a youth director in a very conservative church for like 3 years without being found out. So, like, she came out of like the worst situation possible. One of my closest friends, he was in the gay community for years. He was very gay. Like, that was just who he was, and he got, he was the party animal, but God, he was high and drunk at the same time, and God kind of got a hold of him and like started yelling at him while he was tripping and stuff. And
oh boy.
Another one of my friends, also gay, just has the most amazing testimony about finding your identity. He was also gay. Sorry, he's not gay anymore, but he was. He has the most amazing story about finding your testimony and like defining who you are in Christ, but also being your own person. Really cool to hear him talk. But I've just, those people it wasn't just, oh, I'm a believer now. They changed everything about themselves to follow Jesus. They left everything behind. Like, this was their identity, this was their friends, this was their family, this is what they found meaning in, and they left it all behind to follow Jesus without really knowing what they were getting into. Those, like, they have more commitment for anything than I mean, I don't have that kind of commitment. It's just crazy.
Yeah, I think it's such a good picture of what it really means to be born again. Because you really have to die to that old man in order to follow Jesus.
For sure.
It's a change of affection, to quote Beckett Cook.
Yeah, I know when when I joined the server, I left an old friend group behind, and it was hard, but it was either stay where I was and continue down that path that God told me will lead to death, or move on.
Were they secular?
Yes.
Oh.
One of them was vehemently against religion and was a nihilist.
Were you the only Christian?
Yes.
Oh, that's hard.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So it was either I stay there or I move on. Here I am.
And look at you now.
Dang.
Yeah. Now, I'm a lot happier where I am. It was hard, man. It was like, it made me not anxious, but like depressed. I was like, man, is God real? It's like they just harp on you constantly. Like, I remember one time they were talking about evolution. I'm like, yeah, I don't believe in evolution. They're like, what? I'm like, yeah, I don't believe in that. And my one friend got a girlfriend, and he's like, yeah, he's a Christian. She goes, unironically? I'm like, how do you be a Christian ironically? How does that happen? Like, what?
What a wild thing to say.
Yeah, so, yeah. It's insane. Yeah, I don't miss my old life, to be honest. I'm quite happy where I am.
I would love to have more secular friends, but no one lets me be their friend when they find out I'm Christian.
Well, considering where you are, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it takes a special kind of Christian to have a lot of secular friends, because it's very draining. Because, like, if you bring up your religion, they just get really mad, or they're just like, no, you're wrong, and just rag on you for. I remember one time I brought up God, and they ragged on me for like 2 hours about how God is terrible, and
that's crazy.
Oh, dude, you know, Christianity is so messed up from what it originally was, because everybody and their mom translates the Bible a different way, and that's why there's all these different sects of Christianity and everything. I'm like, dude, what are you talking about? And I try explaining to them, and they're like, no, you're just wrong. I'm like, or they're like, yeah, well, you're not a normal Christian. I'm like, what? So, yeah.
I won't even like bring it up, but if people find out that I'm Christian, like, I'm donezo.
Yeah.
I'm like,
that's
really?
interesting. A lot of my relationships with secular people, it's always, I have to preface that I'm a Christian, and they just seem chill about it. They're like, oh, okay.
I wish.
And then you build a relationship from there.
That sounds so nice.
I know at my job, when they found out I was a Christian, they're like, we're gonna corrupt you. I was like, oh no.
Oh my lord.
Yeah.
What? They said that?
Yeah. And when my boss found out I was a
wild.
Christian, he made me work on Sundays and stuff. I'm like, dude, I can't do that. Yeah. And then when I told him, like, dude, you can't put me on Sundays. I gotta go to church. He begrudgingly gave me those hours off, but he cut my hours back to 12 hours a week. And the one day I was leaving, he scheduled me for like 4 hours. One of his managers went, oh, is it Sunday? I'm like, really? So.
But they weren't scheduling you on Sunday before they found out?
No, I told them when I went in the interview, I'm a Christian, and the person who interviewed me originally was a Christian. He knew my pastor, and he's like, no, I get it. Yeah, you can't work on Sundays. I'll let the other guy who's going to do the next interview know. And the guy who did the next interview didn't care. He's like, yeah, no, we're working Sundays. I was like, I can't work Sundays. It's against my religion. I was like, I need to go to church.
The ministry I work at made me work on Sundays.
Yeah,
the ministry?
Yeah.
Well, my view is like, as long as you have one day off at least.
Yeah.
For
Sabbath
the Lord.
was made for man, not man for the Sabbath.
Yeah. So I like.
My view too. It's just weird.
Yeah.
That we've been open on a Sunday.
But yeah, so I was like, I can't work on Sundays, and that's what they did. And they scheduled me at 6 o'clock in the morning until 1 o'clock in the afternoon, so I was missing church. I was like, of course.
That's lame.
Yeah. And then I was at work reading my Bible, because I'm like, whatever, I can't go to church. I might as well just read my Bible. He comes out, can't do that. I was, can't do what? Can't read your Bible at work.
What the heck?
Where does it say that? And he got really mad.
My lord.
Yeah. So, you know. Those are the secular people I deal with.
Mm.
Although that guy doesn't, he works at Wawa, but he works, where does he work now? He works like 4 hours away from where I work now. I was like, yeah, good. Keep him away from me. But yeah. I don't know. I guess I've just had really bad experiences with secular people.
Mm.
I mean, I've met people who don't care. Like a bunch of my coworkers, they just don't care. But it's either they don't care or they don't like me.
Thanks for
having me.
Yeah, thanks for joining. It was a lot of fun.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, I think we should make this our normal question. What's your favorite bread?
Definitely like Italian flour loaf. Whatever it's
Nice.
called. The one that you put the flour on top and the seasoning on top of that.
Is that stuff that your mom makes at you?
No, my mom doesn't make bread. I make the bread, but I don't know what she's talking about.
I'm tired. I forget what it's
Yeah.
called, but it's like, it's regular bread. It's a little bit
Mhm.
like sourdough, but it's not as sour. Then you put the spices on top, and then you roll it in flour, and then you bake it.
I don't know.
Anyways, it's good. Second is focaccia. I like focaccia bread.
The one where you like stick your fingers in it like you're playing with slime?
What?
Huh?
What are you talking about?
Wait, I
What?
gotta look it up now.
Yeah, you do after saying that. After that comment, yeah, I want to see the bread that you eat. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's what it is.
You're out here eating Play-Doh.
When you bake the bread, you stick your fingers in it when it's like dough.
Huh?
And then you put it in the oven, and then it's got
Oh,
the dimples.
it's good.
That's so much judgment from Ezio.
Mm.
I don't know, man. I'm talking about you stick your fingers in the bread and then eat it. Like what? What do
No,
you
that's
mean?
not what I meant.
That's what you said.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, I did
You
not.
said you stick your fingers in it like it's slime and then you eat it. I was
No.
like, what does that mean?
That's not what I said.
That is what you said. You'll see when you edit this. You'll edit it out. I know it.
Yeah,
I know you will.
I'll make
I know
myself
you
look good.
will.